Welcome to AI Your Practice, the podcast exploring how AI is changing the business side of running a healthcare practice. I'm Carolyn S, founder of Trilby AI, dental marketing strategist, speaker, and somebody who spent more than 20 years working alongside dental and healthcare practices. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here, Carolyn.
And once again, we're doing something with Macquarie University and the students here. And I really appreciate you coming back after ADX and being videoed there to join us in a podcast environment.
Glad to be here. And we had a lot of fun doing those videos at the ADX. So yeah, let's do it.
Thank you. So, Sean, you're the CTO for Centaur Software. I would imagine that every practice in Australia knows that Centaur Software are the providers for Dental4Windows, Dental4Web, the biggest provider and install base in Australia for software. They may not know your background, Sean. So can you briefly tell us about how you became the CTO and your journey?
All right. I started in the Australian dental industry back in 2004, straight out of university. And I actually started working for a company which is still operational to this day that also does dental software. And for a while, we competed with Dental4Windows, Dental4Web early in my career. And then I worked for a number of corporate dental organizations as well. And then 5 years ago, after years of talking about doing something together, I joined Centaur Software as a product manager. And over the last few years, I've gone from head of product, and the last 2 years have been doing the role of CTO.
So you've always, for your entire professional career, you've been in dental. That's
nowhere
pretty
else.
Crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
Was that always the plan?
That wasn't the plan. I mean, working in the dental industry was never the plan to begin with. It was just a job straight out of uni. But once you get into the industry, you see how complex it is. It is different to what you see from the outside.
Agree.
And the way I describe to my friends and family is every dental practice is a surgery where surgical work happens. So, I mean, I remember when I first started in the dental industry, SMS was the big thing. If you are a practice that has a practice management system that can send SMSs right out of your practice management system, you are in the it crowd.
Yeah.
So looking at what's happening today, it's come a long way. And I've been very fortunate enough to be a part of that technology changeover over the time. I have been in the industry. So at Centaur today, we are at the cusp of a massive innovation curve.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to be a part of that journey.
And playing in the biggest install base. So you basically have the biggest job in dental, in innovation, in technology in Australia, which is a pretty cool place to be.
Absolutely. I love every minute of it. It's not the easiest when you have a massive customer base because every practice is a unique entity, the way they work, the personalities of the people, and having a tool, practice management system or otherwise, that can cater to all different types of unique practices is not an easy thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because obviously you do have the largest install base. Some of the practices have been on Dental4Windows, Dental4Web since day one. We're all very aware that there's a lot of innovation happening in this space. There's a lot of bright, shiny objects out there. There's a lot of talk about AI, of what it can do, what it shouldn't do, what it's not compliant to do. So, I think we probably both agree that there's so much misunderstanding. There's so much hype about it at the moment. Where you guys are the incumbent, you have some very traditional practice owners in a world that is innovating quickly. How do you manage the speed of the expectations of innovation against a traditional, very very loyal base?
Interesting question, Carolyn. When these innovations were first happening, there were quite a few players in the clinical dental space, and over the last 12 to 18 months, some of them have disappeared, and new players mostly in the admin area has come into play. So what we did was we resisted the temptation of doing something, partnering with organizations or even doing our own AI at the very beginning, because all indications were, especially in the Gen AI space with ChatGPT, Anthropic, and the likes, that things were changing dynamically. They were changing overnight.
Yeah.
And we count ourselves very lucky that we made that decision about 2 years ago, that we would wait and see where this AI wave is going. And now we are in a position, which we already have started, in a position to understand what practices need and what practices don't. That is a big thing. There's a big difference. As you and I have always talked about, Carolyn, there's a lot of noise.
Yes.
And almost everything is AI powered these days. But to have real AI, real agentic AI, or any other type of AI, it is not an easy task.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are getting into our native AI building as well. We're doing that as we speak. So our customers or any future customers will be able to enjoy AI within the application. Mm-hmm. But we had to stay back and watch what was happening. I'll give you a few examples a bit later about some of the things we considered initially but held back. And now looking at it, we are glad we did.
Yes.
So our traditional practices, talking about traditional practices, everyone thought that clinical AI would be the first to take off.
Yeah.
And so traditional practitioners were very much against that because of that notion. However, outside of diagnostic AI from the likes of Pearl and Overjet, it didn't go any further until recently when scribing became a thing.
Exploded.
Yeah, but again, scribing is looked at as more of an admin thing, because it is helping the clinician write the notes.
Yeah.
Because the clinician is still in charge.
Yeah.
It is still not a clinical decision-making tool.
Yes.
So that was the worry in the traditional clinician base, that AI will either find holes in their work or diagnose their diagnostic work or surgical work incorrectly, or AI will replace them.
Yes.
But the curve has proven that the clinician is always in charge. So the traditional practice owners, clinicians who have been with us for 20, 30 years, they are changing their perspective on AI.
Yeah.
Because they got to witness where the industry is going.
Yes. Yeah. So true. And there's parallels between what you guys have not done and what I have not done. So as you're aware, that I've been presenting on AI in dental for over 2 years. And I too have sat there and I've looked at what's going on, and I've been thinking there is a huge opportunity here. Like, these tools are incredible. They will make a massive difference. But for me, the same as you, it's like I actually need to sit and I need to watch and I need to learn myself and I need to use this in the agency so that I can ensure that what we build fixes the real issues, because there are so many bright shiny objects and there are so many ways that you could use it, but actually what has the biggest impact. So it's really interesting to hear that you guys have stood back to have that measured approach and the considered approach to ensure that what you're building out meets the market where it is.
Absolutely. One of the first integrators that came to us in the AI space was an AI receptionist.
Yeah.
That was just over 2 years ago. And at the time, we got together and we thought, hey, that is something we could do as well. Why do we have to integrate with anyone if we could do it ourselves? And that's how it started. And we thought, you know what, let's just wait. And looking at the market now, we get at least 3 to 4 integration requests from AI reception tools a month.
Wow.
If not more. So there are so many. And I know a number of clinicians, they are using overseas developers to create their own reception AI.
Yes, I've seen this too.
Yes, so that then becomes something unregulated.
I was going to say, keep talking.
So it, and the common feedback is, I know there are reception AI tools that do a fantastic job, but the feedback we have got from not just traditional practice owners, but also new age tech savvy practice owners, AI, it will take a long time for AI receptionists to replicate the spirit, the nature of the practice.
Yeah.
And
if ever.
So there is a place for it. There is a place, voice AI, for example, when you are busy to take your overflow calls,
out of hours,
answer calls after hours on weekends.
Yeah, I agree.
And also to have that safety net for your patients who have a complicated procedure.
Yes.
And if they know that I can ask questions after hours, that is one thing.
Yes.
But replacing that, the window, the front door to your practice with AI.
Absolutely.
It's so it is a good sign. And I was talking to an AI provider, funnily enough, at the ADX, and they said we have 20 odd AI provider stands this year, and I think at the next ADX next year, we will have the same number or more, but it would be interesting to see how many from this ADX will make it to the next
Still
ADX.
There. Yeah.
So this space is changing, and the approach we took to creating AI is not to give our practices bright and shiny objects.
Yeah.
What we wanted to do and what we are doing, what we will be doing continuously is find areas in the practice management system where AI can enhance the experience, not give people something that changes the way they work.
Yeah.
We wanted to give our users something that adapts to the way they work, and it's not something new that they have to learn. It is something that learns what they do. They are still in control. So that's how our AI strategy has been curated. So in the very near future, our users will see bits and pieces of AI without getting in their way, just helping them along the user journey.
So helping them with their existing workflow
100%.
Okay. And will patients see any changes? Are you looking at the patient journey?
The patient journey is, there's a different, interesting dynamic. Patient journey is impacted by many integrators and
Yeah.
integrated products.
Yes.
And our practice owners, they are happy to go and get the product or the product suite that they really like, that for their patient-facing interactions. And we have the two parts. We have our native AI, and we also provide integrations.
Okay.
So patient-facing, most of the time, it is the choice of the practice because it is their practice. It's how they would like to represent their practice.
Okay.
So we also have made that decision that we will not pick one AI company and force our customers to use that AI company.
Yeah.
We will have the integration layer where we will enable integrating with everyone, and the practice can choose. They can do their they can do their homework, due diligence, and choose the best.
I think that sounds like a very considered move. I think that's really smart.
Definitely. I mean, AI and ethics.
This is exactly the next question. So we've talked about it before, and I'd love to capture the gold here. Is you're seeing it, I'm seeing it, people are using generic AI tools, or they're developing their own, or tools are being developed that are not compliant, that do not follow regulations, that do not have the security layered in. How do the practices that are using Dental4Windows now and in the future, out of all of these tens, hundreds, thousands of AI providers out there, how do they know that what they're choosing actually is compliant? Do you at Centaur have something in place to ensure that?
We do, for the AI that we integrate, we in the future, we are not there yet, but we plan to pursue ISO 42001 2025 certification.
Yeah.
That is it is like your information security management, but this is AI management system.
Yes.
So that has guidelines about risks involved in AI, especially around consent, bias, avoiding bias in your models, and obtaining consent, and a whole raft of things. So my directive to our teams has been that we lay the foundations based on those principles.
Yeah.
So at any given point in the future, we can put our hand on heart and say, we have followed the best practice guidelines. And that is also a bit of a benefit from standing back and watching, because there was no standard, ISO standard for AI up until recently. I think I may have made a mistake, 42001 2023 maybe, but doesn't matter. That
You
is
will
the
ensure
standard.
that you are
Absolutely
at the latest standards, no matter what they are. And what about your providers or the people that you're integrating with?
Okay, it's every provider that we integrate with, I'm sure Carolyn, you and Anthony had to do that
We
too.
are going through that process,
Yes,
absolutely.
So we do a security risk analysis and assessment. We give our integrators questionnaires, and we look at their security certifications and assurances that they do their best to protect customer data. So as far as the practice management provider, our practice management provider scope is concerned, we are doing everything we can. But as soon as an integrator extracts the data, for the data they extracted, the processor role become theirs.
Yes, okay.
So because we are looking at it at the moment. Again, this might change, Carolyn. You got in early because in the future we will be looking at not just security, this AI management system components as well. So we will look at the security of all our integrators,
Yeah.
but we highly recommend to every dental practice to ask a simple set of questions with, to every integrator, simple as, where is my data going?
Yes.
That's one. And
Where does it live?
where does it live? Where
Yeah.
how does it transit? Where does it transit to? And number two, do you use my data for training
Yes.
your models?
Yeah.
And how long do you retain my data if I were to leave you?
Yes.
And because there are some clauses that I have seen, along the way where there is a clause that says we retain the data indefinitely unless requested otherwise.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so those things, we can't be getting into the fine print of the integrators' terms and conditions with our customer.
Yes.
So we give them advice on what best practice is. But Carolyn, the landscape is changing so quickly. The best practice advice is not going to be the same in a month's time.
Correct.
So it is quite important. And you know what? In a way, I feel for our dental practice owners today because one of the practice owners I spoke to recently, they said, with this AI, there's a lot of homework for us to do.
Yes.
And don't be surprised that there will be a profession in the industry very soon, dental AI consultant.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly why I don't know how many talks I'm doing this year, and it is exactly for this reason, because I am trying to educate the market, the practices on what they should be looking for and what they need to think about, and the generic tools, what they should be putting in and what they should absolutely be leaving out, and what they should be telling their teams, because I am so aware of the Wild West and people not
Absolutely.
understanding how to use some of these generic
Absolutely.
tools safely. And then
Yeah.
the fear that they are building their own and the breaches. I mean, at ADX, I remember telling you about this. At one of my talks, I always talk about APRA, I always talk about compliance, I always talk about the rules. And there was actually some AI software developers or providers in
Yes.
the audience, and they were asking me about, I'd explained about before and after images and how they have to be true and you need to have patient consent to use them. And they said, so are you saying that you can't use AI generated images for those before and afters? And I said, absolutely not. And they were building a tool that generated AI before and after images. And it just makes my heart go cold, because this is not okay.
Yeah.
And how do we as an industry stop tools coming on the market that are in breach of APRA compliance? The person that has used this tool, the practice, are going to be the ones in breach of APRA guidelines, and they are trusting company X, AI company X, to just rock up and deliver, and it's like, and they are breaching from concept.
And so that is another thing I see happening in the industry. There will be a few significant breaches.
Yes.
And there will be some landmark rulings.
Yeah.
I think it is the journey of any technology. And when we first saw driverless cars, and there were incidents, very famous or infamous incidents. And in the dental industry, here in Australia or elsewhere in the world, there will be a few landmark cases where patients' privacy is breached, and practice sued for millions of dollars. And the other thing is, like, has the practice got the right insurance coverage.
Yeah, it's
Because
goes
AI,
on.
because this is changing dramatically. And also the other thing I wanted to bring up is when you look at AI tools, usually I tell practices there are two types of AI tools. One is the one that does remarkably well in the demo.
Yeah.
And the other one is the one that survives the Monday morning chaos at your practice.
I love that.
So it is,
I love that.
it is a simple rule of thumb. And another thing, I did a talk on that at the ADX, is for a dental practice, because in most cases, your average dental practice, let's say 2 chairs, 5, 6 staff members, it's not a corporate entity.
Yeah.
And the AI is also, AI should be needs driven rather than innovation driven.
Yes. Problem driven.
Yeah. And most people think dental practices, AI, they go straight to clinical.
Yes.
But the actual burden is in the admin area. And it's some repetitive work, calling patients or, collecting debt or referrals, recall letters, recall SMSs, whatever else. And all those things are, the rule of thumb is that 20% of the admin work at a practice can be either automated or can be done with the help of AI.
Yeah.
That's
Augmented.
That's right off the top.
Yeah.
And there are other opportunities as well, but again, it needs to be needs driven.
Yes.
And it's, sometimes people go, well, so-and-so has got AI receptionist.
Yeah. This bright, shiny object here.
Yeah, and my receptionist, spends time without the phone ringing for hours.
Yes.
But I should get voice receptionist
yes.
AI because Joe Blogs down the road has got it.
It reminds me, it takes me back to the early days of my dental marketing agency where it was a Queensland practice and we sat down with them and we said, who's your target market? And he knew exactly who his target market was. And it was empty nesters, 55 plus. Like he absolutely knew what he was doing with his practice, where he was going. And I said, so tell me about any campaigns you've run, any promotions. And he said, so we've just run a mouthguard campaign. And I said, why on earth have you run a mouthguard campaign when you've literally
for the empty nesters.
just told me that they're empty nesters? And he said, because the practice down the road was running one, so we thought it too. And it's exactly the same.
That is absolutely right. That is absolutely right. And so needs driven is a good way to look at it. And in my ADX talk, this is also something I talked about. Two things. If you can't write down on a piece of paper, traditional way, conventional way, what problem you're trying to solve,
yes,
then you shouldn't be looking at AI to solve that problem.
Absolutely.
And number two, if you cannot spend 2 hours every week, you or your staff cannot spend 2 hours every week looking at how AI is doing, how it is solving your problem, is it successful, then you shouldn't be getting an AI solution.
Yes.
So those two things, they become quite important because these days, I remember, I told you about SMS, and then back in, I think, late noughties when online booking became a thing.
Yes, I remember it well.
And practices were like, well, you got online bookings? I need to get online bookings too.
Yeah.
So again, there were some scenarios where some practices core patient base was retirees.
Yes.
And they still wanted online bookings because, again, the practice down the road
Has also
had
got
online bookings. So to me, in a way, in a big way, this is a bit like those online bookings as well. Because sometimes people say, I need AI in my practice, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's almost, I see it on the other way. So for me, online booking, I wanted all of my practices to have online booking, and I would recommend it all the time, because I would say what happens if, and I used to use myself as an example, if somebody who's a full-time working mum wants to book her family in and it is 5:30 and you are not there.
Yes.
So I had to convince practices to use online bookings early in the day. So I think it's going to be two sides. I think there's going to be those that go, I want it because it's a bright, shiny object. And then I think there's going to be ones that could really get the benefit out of it that will not see the benefit.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, again, what you just described is a good use case.
Yes.
If you can write it down, you can say, my practice closes at 5 o'clock, but I want to have to give my patients the ability to book after 10 past 5.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting my online bookings. That's a good problem statement.
Yes.
And so if you can do that about any AI tool,
Yes.
and like scribing, for example, there are really good tools out there. Why are you, and people say, to save time. But how much time do you know you spend writing clinical notes?
Yeah.
And how much time do you think you will save?
Yes. Yes.
With scribing tools? So it all becomes the user, something that the user has to define. It can be very simple, but it needs to solve a problem.
Yes.
And that's how...
It's fundamental.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just going to say, that's how all these Gen AI tools have come into play. They are solving a problem.
Yes.
And developers, designers,
Yeah.
whoever else using AI, they are solving a problem.
And that is why we are absolutely obsessed with fixing problems. So what we're building out, as you know, with Trilby is a suite of tools. We are spending hours and hours and hours researching and talking to practices and going in and watching their workflows to make sure that what we are building actually is what they need. Because we can sit here in our ivory tower and we can think we know what the practices need.
Absolutely.
But we are building in parallel with the practices to ensure that what we have is what they need.
Absolutely. So, Carolyn, now I've got a question for you. I have this strong belief, you might prove me wrong, if your workflows are broken, AI can only amplify the broken workflows. AI, so my thought process had been AI is not going to fix a broken workflow. It'll amplify and it'll do it more efficiently,
Yes.
but a broken workflow. So Trilby, with the suite of tools, do you believe it will be able to fix a broken workflow? Or
I will spin that around.
okay.
So I agree. I think the practices that are not working well comes down to human issues, always a human issue. So with the greatest AI in the world, if a human cannot do their job, whatever that job may be, then giving them a tool, they still won't do the job. Okay? My other belief is that, and what we're building with some of the tools, we're putting in a level of tracking. So I don't want to give too much away.
Yes,
but
yes,
I know you've seen all the tools, but you can probably work out which tool. So tools where the practice will be using it to access information. We're using it to track in the background to say, okay, these were questions that we're being asked, and this is information that is missing from your knowledge base within Trilby. And then we're going to report back to the practice, and we're going to say we are highlighting and we are seeing that this is a repetition. This is an issue that we can see that you do not have workflows in place or information in place, so we're going to push it back. So hopefully with some of the level of tracking that we've got in there, we will be able to start tracking some of those issues. But fundamentally, if nobody is even thinking or asking questions, then I don't think AI can help, because a rogue member of the staff is going to be a rogue member of the staff, regardless of what they're given.
But it is smart, I must say, pointing out to the practices where the workflow is broken.
Yes.
That is important, because, again, AI alone is not going to fix it. It'll do it better.
Yeah.
But if you can point out the broken workflows, and that'll be powerful.
Yes.
To give you an example, we, I think I've spoken about this before. Our first AI feature is not a big one. It is, again, something that makes life easier for practices. It's a predictive model where it predicts the likelihood of the patient turning up for an appointment.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
I was looking at data yesterday, actually, about exactly this.
Yeah. And then one of the first practices that we looked at, and my machine learning engineer came and said, this practice has no cancellations.
What?
And I said, every practice has cancellations.
I was going to say, show me.
Yeah, every practice has cancellations. And he said, no, these guys don't have any cancellations for the last 3 years, none whatsoever.
Wow.
And I said, well, then the model is not going to be able to learn anything.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I went and had a look, and turns out the practice had another appointment book or column called cancellations. So they were moving it there. So
Oh my God.
if they follow up and the patient rebooks, they can drag and drop.
Wow.
So all their so the model that is designed for cancellations and understanding when something got cancelled, did they cancel 5 minutes before the appointment, or hour before the appointment, or a day before?
And have they cancelled 10 times in the last 3 months, which was the data I was looking at yesterday.
And you couldn't do it. So if that workflow is broken, that is a good example. It is their convenience.
Yes.
But if that workflow is not optimal, or it doesn't give you the right data, then there's not a lot AI can do.
But likewise, AI will show that broken workflow.
Definitely.
So there is still a benefit, isn't there?
Absolutely. There is a benefit, and
a huge benefit.
It is a massive benefit. I'm very interested to see how the industry will embrace that notion of changing the way they work and filling that gap.
And back to the human element of...
Definitely.
With data comes knowledge. With knowledge comes awareness. And at the end of the day, the people that have to change are the teams. And it's the practice owner, the practice manager that will have different insights now.
Yep.
And then it still comes down to what do they do with the people on the ground. It always starts and ends with the people. No matter how amazing the tech is, it's always down to people.
Oh, definitely. I remember when we had different products incorporated with Dental4Windows and Dental4Web, when we were talking to practice owners at ADXs, they used to, like, some of them used to say, oh, you need to talk to my practice manager and receptionist.
Yes.
Because I could buy something, I could sign up for something. If they don't use it, then
what's the point? Wise words.
Yeah,
Wise words.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so we could talk probably for days.
Absolutely, we could.
But we won't. So final two questions.
Yes.
So the future. So stepping forward 5 years or more, what do you think the greatest opportunity is with the innovation that we're seeing today in the dental industry?
5 years. So most of the admin work will be delegated to AI,
Yeah.
agents and MCP servers and the likes. What won't happen is clinical decision making.
Yes.
It will still be in the hands of the clinician.
Yeah.
And most of the other things we find, and most likely there will be a few predominant AI tools in the industry, and others would have just fallen by the wayside. And then every practice will have an AI suite of agents doing various work, and it will be just something. It's like having an iPhone or an Android today.
Or the internet.
Or the internet. So again, these things will happen. I think it'll happen a lot quicker than that.
Yeah.
And the people in the coding industry know MCP service, model context protocol service, didn't exist 2 years ago.
Yes.
And today they dominate most things we do.
Yeah.
So there will be greater, newer findings in the AI space, and that'll trickle down to the dental industry as well. So it will be very interesting in 5 years' time to see what has changed. But I think what we can with confidence say is what won't change, which is the dentist, clinician, their decision-making process. They will still hold the ultimate decision-making power. And there will be, to be honest, I can't even imagine what.
The patient experience is still going to be key.
Yeah, definitely,
Always.
Definitely. I'd say me, or I think it's human nature, I would still go to a practice where I'm greeted by a human.
I agree.
Rather than a bot walking around with a tray full of coffee cups.
I agree. So the final question is, what advice would you give to practice owner, practice manager today when they're looking at the bright, shiny objects, the number of tools that are coming to market? What should they do when looking and assessing some of these tools?
All right. So that's a very good one. I like you. That is the last question because I've got a lot of things to say, but I'll keep it brief. First of all, I think some of the things we covered along the way, first of all, understand the problem.
Yeah.
What are you trying to solve?
Perfect.
So that is the first thing. And the second, do your research about the provider. Do they have security certifications?
Yep.
Do they explicitly say where they store their data, where the data goes to, and the data retention? And because you still are the data controller.
Yes.
And if they should comply, if at any point you ask them to delete your data.
Yes.
And even if you don't understand it, ask them whether they use your data for training their models.
Yes.
So that's number 3. Number 4 is do some research and understand your obligations. For example, if you're using scribing in a consultation, you need to let the patient know. And if the patient says no, you need to turn it off, and you need to do that consistently.
Yes.
And last but not least, have a plan of making whatever the tool you sign up to, making it work. Is it going to just have checkpoints?
Yeah.
Month later, has it even started solving my problem?
Yes.
I know I call it the practice's 90-day grace period. If it hasn't done what it promised to do in 90 days,
Yep.
it ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
So
Wise.
with those
words.
5 things, I think it'll give most practices a good foundation as to what to look for.
Yeah. Such great advice and
Thank
an
you,
amazing
Carolyn.
conversation. I've really enjoyed it, Sean. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Carolyn. Always love chatting to you, and you get me to talk a lot about the things I have a passion
Passionate
for.
about.
Yes.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me on AI Your Practice. I hope today's episode gave you something practical to take back to your practice. If it was useful, follow the show, leave a review, or share. And if you want to learn more about what we're building at Trilby, go to trilby.ai or contact me on Carolyn S. Dean on any social media channel. Until next time, thanks for listening to AI Your Practice.